Meanwhile,
We return you now to our sci-fi extravaganza.
Next on our temporal to-do list.
so this is technically, as mentioned, the last section of Clank inside the Great Clock. Now that you got the full orientation, now it's time to showcase, a more streamlined of the kind of activity that Clank will do. Especially because, as Sigmund also said, it includes also the last major thing that Clank needs to access the Orvus Chamber. Unfortunately, we kind of already know by the plot that, Nefarious is spying on him. I know, I can imagine, as soon as he set up the plan, that's what people can guess. But I believe the game plans the hint a bit too hard. It would have been neat as an actual twist, but I guess the trade-off would have been that it would have risked to come out of nowhere, so people would have been potentially more disappointed on that. So we went for a more safer option. I guess that's what the thought process was.
I guess my only issue is if Clank acts shocked, because technically you've been playing this Clank who, sees that he's being watched at a few points. I know gameplay story segregation, but
yeah,
this is like a crash act.
Because, again, as far as Clank is concerned, right now he wants to just deal with, maintaining the clock, especially because there's stuff that we haven't talked about, which is basically what is Clank thinking. The game will actually finally give us a proper answer on the matter. If not in this part, in the next, I think. But basically, that's the fulcrum of Clank's character. The fact that he just got dumped this origin onto him, and he's been told, now your job is to be stuck in this place, keeping it up and doing nothing else in your life. Whatever you were doing with Ratchet, forget about it. And of course, this might have to, cause some conflict with the character. But so far, Clank hasn't really shown it. He's just rolling with the punches. But rest assured, there will be, internal, conflict with that. It's only up to you to decide if there should have been more before this or not.
I feel like as a series, Ratchet & Clank focuses first and foremost on the gameplay and keeping a relatively funny and light-hearted tone. So sometimes when the deeper questions ought to be asked, they will kind of sit on that for a while and save it for, I don't want to say the last minute, but they'll often save those for later than you would imagine, at least from my experience with the series.
Yeah, this is where the time recording puzzles begin to properly become more cerebral. So for this last part, if I recall correctly, I'm gonna speed up most major sections with them.
Let us see the mindsets and thought processes of Mr. Tierskevin brought to us in the full broadcast form. Fast forwarded. See now as he brilliantly sets the world to shape rightfully to his image, platforms brought up at just the right time and precision, needed in a bout of architectural wonder.
Also, silly
me. Sounds a lot more high quality. Did you get a soundtrack version?
Download those from YouTube, Dweebs. That's as brutal and basic as you can get. But
it's amazing how to a point sometimes YouTube rips are the most high quality and raw version.
Silly me, I keep forgetting. According to Professor Layton, time travel is bullshit, except at the very end when he's told that it's technically a thing, but you will die because your time displaced.
I have said it before, and I'll say it again. At this point, I just laugh at the arbitrary skepticism of the Layton world.
To be fair, again, Lost Future, with the last twist that I just mentioned, Lost Future, was designed to actually subvert that by saying that, yes, the professor was technically correct with the whole facade, but the mysticality of the science fiction experiment did still happen. It's just not the way people were thinking, it would happen.
I guess I'll give the prequel trilogy credit that they kind of dropped the arbitrary skepticism, although it makes the original trilogy kind of hilarious in hindsight, given that those take place after. So given that the next game, I think it's Lost World of Steve.
Yeah, Steve Ward, Dig or something.
One that takes place over in America, I wonder how they're going to handle the skepticism. Will Layton just finally admit, okay, Luke, anything can legit happen right now.
From the trailers, they showcased that there is supposed to be a cowboy ghost, which probably that will be the hoax of the day. But I have to be honest, I want to wait until the game releases before doing any kind of speculation, because in recent times level 5 has not particularly had a good look in my eyes.
Fair point.
You know, Orvus
motion crab carnage.
You know, Orvus says that these nail creatures eventually find themselves from time to time, you know, a place inside the clock. But, like, how? Like, you're not operating on medieval logic where it says, oh, you know, fleas and insects originate from dirt, you know.
Well, you see, dear Clank, it turns out I just killed them all. In fact, all these parts of the clock are made from refined body parts that have been solidified into solid metal.
Thanks, Mario.
Poor Mario.
Alright, time to check the next station. Well, we will need to fix it, but first let me have a quick look in the area.
But yeah, no, like, it is a good question, though, like, okay, this is meant to be, you know, a giant clock.
In the middle of the universe, 50 feet give or take, but, you know...
Yet somehow plants, vegetation, and animals can thrive in this, what is supposed to be a sterile location.
Especially because the zombies, despite not being robots, you know, they're still not particularly bent on much of an organic life, but whatever. Oh,
welcome to the concept art room.
Welcome
hey,
to
look,
the future,
it's the plumber.
where everything is chrome.
What did the plumber... How did the plumber ended up here?
Hello.
Watch, it turns out that he was actually involved with the invention of Clank all those years
Mario
ago.
Pipe is having.
He started all this mess.
Your memory banks. I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah, no shit.
He has such a terrible sense of direction, he can just stumble into other people's memories.
What is Ratchet's Omni Wrench doing there?
That is Ratchet's Omni Wrench.
Ratchet. Oh yeah, furry little fella. Don't think I've ever seen you without him. You ain't on the outs, are you?
No, we are still friends, but I have new responsibilities.
Moving on, huh? Well, we're all trying to find our own path in the universe. The hard part is taking those first steps. Come
Words
on,
of
yo.
wisdom from the almighty janitor.
Go ahead. If he's your friend, he'll understand.
Are you coming?
Plumbers don't just go diving down strange.
Get it?
This one we'll have to do alone.
Also, this next phrase is important,
Wouldn't risk any more than
because once again, the plumber needs to be plot crucial despite being tangential. It's kind of like the G-Man in Half-Life.
I'll admit, my initial theory was just that, oh, he's literally part of Clank's memory manifesting itself as part of a tutorial in his mind.
Could be, but could be also when he literally just ended up there, you know, Pavel style we were talking about.
This game released around the... Wasn't this game released around the time when Nintendo couldn't make their minds up as to whether Mario was a plumber or not?
No, I think it was a bit later, Blibs. Again, 2009, so this was the time of the new Super Mario Bros. Games.
I don't recall Nintendo ever having doubts about Mario being a plumber,
Well,
save for maybe back in like the Jumpman
at
days.
the start, where they thought he was just maybe a mechanic, or even when he did not really have too much of a job as Jumpman in the Donkey Kong games.
Mario, a man of many talents. When he bothers using
You
it.
could say a true Renaissance man.
Pity about him and Peach officially being friend zoned, but what you gonna do?
Going to sell the franchise to kids, you cannot even imply, you know, a love relationship anymore.
Now, Luigi and Daisy on the other hand.
Yeah, I was about to say, tell that to Daisy and Luigi, who literally have statues practically showing their relationship in the latest Mario Kart game.
I don't know what to tell you.
Luigi wins by doing nothing, I guess. Nah, but seriously, Mario, hit up Pauline. According to that song in Odyssey, she still might have the hots for you.
Which also, well, considering the Okay, will not say much because the game is still relatively fresh, so I don't want to spoil too much, but Donkey Kong Bonanza seems to imply a lot in terms of lore of a bigger picture, and that includes also Mario, believe it or not. But I will not I will not say more because again, the game is really relatively fresh and there's a lot more to speculate. I'm just gonna say that Koizumi might not be present in the game, development, but his fingerprints are clearly all over the place. So he probably instructed someone to actually, properly do what he did for the games he handled, like Odyssey and Galaxy.
I can't believe Pauline killed Mario in a freak plumbing tools accident.
Clearly.
But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, from what I recall, we know it's even the Odyssey team working on Bonanza, but weirdly enough, Koizumi apparently was not directly involved in the development. That weirded me out, because it really does feel like a Koizumi game for Donkey Kong, but who knows, maybe Koizumi's actually working on the next Mario game as we speak.
Well, the team started developing immediately after we were done with Odyssey. The reason why the game took that long is because they wanted to perfect the whole mechanic about, digging through every type of terrain with all the different mechanics. And when coincidentally the game took so long that the Switch 2 was in development, they were like, yeah, let's make it a launch title for that, why not? That makes us polish the game more.
It's a similar story to what happened with Mario Kart World, wherein, it took so long partially because the team went, look, we want to make this the biggest thing, but we can't with the Switch. Can we please wait for the Switch 2? And thus we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as expanded as it is. Also, I guess those bolts are your payday, Clank. Enjoy spending them on, well, nothing since you're stuck in an otherworldly cloth out in the middle of the universe.
Similar to Size Matters, the bolts are shared between the characters. Hyperspace Arsenal.
Don't you see, it's the great space clock at work, allowing Clank to share his funds with the outside world via his best friend Ratchet, because time travel wills it, I guess.
Of course, clearly.
When's the sequel to Rift Apart gonna come out? Ratchet and Clank commit tax fraud.
You know what? As a callback to the whole corporate satire of the original tetralogy, that will be, interesting.
That would be funny if there's legit a plot point about this world's equivalent to the IRS auditing them for Clank using bolts from this mystical source that they don't deem as illegal produce of income, so then they're in trouble for that.
And hey, if that job title that we saw not long ago turns out to be fully true, then hey, maybe the Switch 2 version of that game will have them working alongside Yoshi to help clear their names.
To be fair, just because, a game receives a port on a different system, that doesn't automatically mean exclusive content tied to the owners of that system. Sometimes it happens, yes, but it's usually mostly relegated to either massive multiplayer stuff or to indies that want to be cheeky with it.
I can't believe, we might end up living in the world where Sony PlayStation, whose whole existence can be boiled down to Nintendo, could end up back at Nintendo.
We were talking about Endgame, the previous part, Jova. Can you please say the quote?
You could not live with your failure. And when did it bring you back to me?
There you go.
Alright,
I just got a reminder recently because by the time we're recording this, I'm basically planning to build a new PC. So in order to test a couple of things, I took advantage of the Steam Summer Sales in order to get a couple of games that were in sales, and I just got a reminder that the PC version of Final Fantasy 15, because it was a big deal, as the official PC port called the Windows Edition, and got released on Steam, you get one of the costumes for Noctis is Gordon Freeman's, suit from Half-Life. So of course I'm gonna show that.
Yes, wonderful. I'll admit, I was a bit surprised that you chose to build a PC instead of going with a pre-built model.
I have,
guess-
I have good connections to people that pointed me out to the right components. Here's hoping.
I guess you'd will the benefit that it technically costs less money, but albeit you gotta put it together yourself. But yeah, for me, when I got a gaming laptop, and yeah, I got a gaming laptop, I basically got... Well, actually, no, I think gaming laptops typically come put together anyway, but yeah.
That's why
I
chose a base PC, proper tower PC, because laptops have to be pre-built, and I know for a fact that one, they cannot be upgraded separately if you want. Two, they generally tend to last less than actual tower PCs.
Surprisingly, my laptop has lasted me a good while. It had a bit of hard drive issues, but thankfully I was able to just get a new hard drive, and hey, upgrading mine to a 4TB one gave it all the more space, which I am enjoying.
Alright, we're finally about to reach the Orvus Chamber, so be prepared.
Hey, Orvus, I know that you made this wonderful clock, but couldn't you have made, transportation between it a bit more easier for people working on it?
You actually do have a fast travel system to the different regions of the clock if you want to come back and repair some of the stuff that you haven't seen. But it's just basically a bragging rights kind of thing. Oh, look at that, it was in the shape of Clank's face. Again, Orvus was preparing all of these for Clank. You have to remember, Clank is here before the time Orvus prepared because of Nefarious interference. But this is important.
Come on! Here it is. Your father went to great lengths to protect this room from those who would abuse it.
Control terminal activated.
What do you suppose Orvus was thinking when he shipped Clank off to that facility we see him actually being built at in the first game?
Grumble, grumble, mysterious ways.
I'm supposed to play this for you. It's sort of an
one last message from Orvus.
Hello, XJ0461, or should I say, Clank? Here, in this very chamber, I watched over time. And now that you understand the power of the clock, I must ask that you protect it at all costs. For even the slightest misuse of its power can rip the very fabric of existence. The clock, much like time itself, is a gift, and not to be tampered with. But like any father, my only wish is that my...
And yeah, that's where the other shoe drops. And unfortunately, as I keep saying, Lawrence might be bumbling on his own, but he's still loyal to Nefarious. Speaking of which, here's Mortal Kombat.
This is the choppiest fighting game ever. I think
So,
even
multiversal.
Combat back in the old days had better more fluid animation than that.
What is it?
You were correct, sir. Clank led us straight to the Orvus Chamber.
Splendid! Notify the Valkyries. It's time for... Unnecessarily Evil Initiative Omega!
Pronounced Omega.
The fact that he even admits that it's unnecessarily evil.
Oh no.
I didn't say
Oh yes.
It's time for one of the old strategies from Quark.
Hey there!
Yeah. I'm sure things will go right, but thankfully we don't have to witness that. Instead, the next part we will reprise the action properly with Ratchet and Azimuth in the new system against what remains of the Valkyries. See ya.
See ya.
See you then.